In this video we'll work on Ruth chapter 1 verses 15 and 16. Okay, return. The officials returned to the king. Let's delete this. Okay, said goodbye. Okay, something went wrong. Let's map this. Right now this is mapped to say goodbye. Let's go down here. Okay, we need another verb that's just say. So let's unlink this one. So I unlinked it. Now there's no words linked to say. New target stem is say. Have said, saying, says. Okay, so now say is linked to just say. Generated text is identical. Generated text is identical. That's the last sentence. Generated text is identical. Generated text is identical. Okay, allow. Allow me to go with you. Okay, allow. Okay, Jesus allowed people to kill him for us, so there's a beneficiary. Beneficiary will be oblique 1 with a 4. Okay, there's no complementizer, but we say allow me to go with you. So me, that's the direct object. So this is using subject raised. This is subject raised. Allow me to go with you. And this should be a to infinitive. Okay, generated text is identical. I'll go to the place that you'll go to. Okay. We've seen other places like this where we want the relativizer where instead of that. If we look up here, okay, what we want now is very similar to this, where we delete that and insert where, because there's a preposition. But, okay, the prepositions we have right now are at or in. Right now this preposition is to, but we can't put this here. And I'll tell you why. Let's cancel all this. This to was inserted by the theta grid adjustment rule. And the theta grid adjustment rules are inserted after these. So if we went back here and went to this rule and added the preposition to, it wouldn't work. Because these rules, the to isn't in this phrase when these rules are executed. So let's add another rule down here. Subordinate clauses. Let's add another rule for relative clauses. This will be based on a noun. Our input structure will have a noun phrase with a noun, then a relative clause with a noun phrase and a noun. I'll put in the word to later on. So that's the ending of that noun phrase. Then we need the end of the relative clause then we need the end of that first noun phrase. Okay. Let's set these indices. And just to be sure, let's tag this as relativized yes. Okay, so in here, we want to insert the preposition to. And let's also insert the relativizer. Okay, so we have a noun with a relativizer that. Then we have a relativized noun phrase with another noun in the preposition to. We want to delete this preposition and also delete this relativizer and insert a new relativizer where? And let's make a note. Or go to the place where you'll go. Okay, stay. Stay takes a destination noun phrase, but you can see there that when we do the analysis, we include the preposition in the destination noun phrase. John stayed in the field, John stayed by the field, John stayed near the field, John stayed under the field. So we don't need to insert the preposition here. In our output structure, let's just specify that this is oblique 1. And I'll stay at the place where it'll stay. Generated text is identical. I don't think we'll need this rule for English. Here's a generic genitive, Ruth's God. Okay, Ruth's country, Ruth's people. These would take Saxon genitives. Ruth's God. Let's set the first one to a Saxon genitive. Okay. And for this B, let's mark this NP. We won't include a comment because this noun phrase isn't included in this verse. Generated text is identical. That's the last sentence. I'll go to the place where you'll go, and we'll stay there where you'll stay. I'll go to the place where you'll go, and I'll stay at the place where you'll stay. Okay, this is better. Okay, this clause is being joined or embedded into this clause. I think if we prevent this clause from being embedded in this clause, then we won't get this pronoun. This was embedded by, moved by structural adjustment rule, combined sentences, rule 1, structure 1. When two short, simple sentences have the same subject and are joined with and, combine them. Okay. I think if we include relative clauses here, then these won't be joined. But these are in noun phrases. Relative clauses are in noun phrases. So let's check ignore phrasal embedding. So now this is saying if the first sentence doesn't have a relative clause and it doesn't have an adverbial clause or a subject complement clause or an object complement clause. Okay. Generated text is identical. Let's save it, and in the next video we'll talk about verse 16.